Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Coffee with Craig, where we talk about all things firearms policy, politics, culture, media, you name it, we're talking about right here on Coffee with Craig. So please take a moment, like and share the program so that your friends can know where the conversation is taking place. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And in the case of Facebook and YouTube, make sure you hit the notification button. That way, you can get notifications as soon as the program goes live, and you can participate in the live chat as the program is going on. Also, you know what I'm about to say. Gotta visit FPCGear.com. It is the place to go to get your Pro 2A swag. T-shirts, we're talking coffee mugs, hoodies, tank tops, stuff for the ladies, stuff for the home, gear for the office, as well as just to go out and about in the era of COVID-19. So make sure you guys go there. The best part about it is about all of this is that this money doesn't just go out there. It goes right back into the fight for your right to keep and bear arms. So you can support the Second Amendment and you can look good doing it. That's FPCGear.com. Now, the Second Amendment, we all know, is written largely about defense from tyranny, or whether that tyranny be foreign or domestic, whether it be governmental or whether it be via individual. The idea, the fundamental right of self-defense is vitally important and, quite frankly, is at the core of what the Second Amendment is about. We also know that one of the primary functions of government, if not the primary function of government, is to protect the citizenry, right? That's what they're supposed to do. From all enemies, foreign and domestic, they're supposed to be defending us and defending our constitutional rights. And, well, as we all know, unfortunately, too often, they fall short in that area. One such example has to do with the Minneapolis Police Department and their recent decision to, let the residents there of the city of Minneapolis know that, if criminals decide if you're going to get robbed or something like that, let's just put it this way. You're on your own. They have told criminals that they need to, or people that they need to cooperate with criminals. Do as they say. Give up your wallet, give up your purse, give up your cell phone. Here is the story.
When a man was shot and killed on 19th Street in Minneapolis late afternoon Saturday, it was the 41st homicide in Minneapolis this year.
And last year at this time, I think we were at 21.
In Friday's Minneapolis City Council meeting, Mayor Jacob Frey said the 288 shooting victims so far this year is the highest in the last 5 years, the next closest being 178 at this point in 2016.
We need to be looking at the numbers here. And I think that none of us should be hiding from them. We should acknowledge the truth.
Robberies and assaults are up as well. Last week, after a Good Samaritan was shot helping a woman who was being robbed, MPD sent an email to 3rd Precinct residents noting 100 robberies and 20 carjackings in the 3rd Precinct in July alone. As a robbery prevention tip, the email recommends to be prepared to give up your cell phone and your purse or wallet.
What is the underlying cause for this uptick in violence?
It's a global pandemic. It's the killing of George Floyd. It's the subsequent unrest. It's the economic downturn. It's unemployment. It's psychological factors. It's mental health and distress. It's a lack of housing opportunities. It is so many things that ultimately compound.
Right now, with the data that's coming out, people are just scared. And they need to know what their city is doing to help out.
In July, MPD formed a violent crime task force along with the U.S. Attorney's Office specifically to deal with the rise in gun violence. Chief Madera Arredondo says it has resulted in arrests, but they still have more work to do. Lou Raguse, KARE 11 News.
According to the mayor and police chief, response times for officers is longer than it was 1 year ago. And they say they have some staffing issues because of the number of officers who have resigned or taken medical leave for PTSD after the riots.
Okay, so one of the things, it was amazing listening to the mayor talk and them talk about what is going on, because one of the things that they fail to recognize, and no one in this report recognized, is that many of the officers there are quitting, quite frankly, because they don't feel like the city is they feel like the city council and the mayor have turned their back on law enforcement. But That's neither here nor there. The fact is that there is a dramatic increase in violence and violent crime in the city of Minneapolis, as, by the way, it's been the case in many cities throughout the country. But their response to it was, well, hey, tell you what, why don't you just give them your stuff? Do exactly what they say. Be prepared to give up your cell phone, your purse, your wallet. But if you look, just two down from that, it says, despite all our efforts, their efforts, their efforts, despite their efforts, robberies may still occur. Don't argue or fight with the criminal. Do as they say. Right? So in other words, the response by those who are supposed to be, serving and protecting us is, yeah, just let the criminals have what they want. Just like those who are looting and robbing stores, let them do whatever they want. As if that is going to stop it. As if that is going to discourage individuals from doing exactly what it is that they are doing. And then you have a mayor who, I'm sorry, and this is unfortunately the saddest thing. I'm a father of two, and I've been a classroom teacher. And for him to say all of these reasons why some of this stuff is happening, I'll just put it to you this way. One of the things that and by the way, also being a grandfather, one of the things you learn about situations like this is that if bad decisions don't have consequences, individuals making those bad decisions will continue to escalate in making bad decisions until there are consequences. And here you have an individual who, quite frankly, just doesn't agree with that. He just doesn't get that very fundamental fact. And as a result of that, you have a pulling back of those who are supposed to be serving and protecting the community. But let me tell you something. In Minneapolis, there are a group of individuals who, they're not waiting on their government, on the Minneapolis PD or this mayor to defend them. They are taking a hold of a very fundamental right. The right to self-defense. And not just the right to self-defense, but as enumerated under our Constitution, the right to keep and bear arms.
So what you see is the community protecting the community, right? We know that our brother George Floyd got murdered by the Minneapolis Police Department, and there's been a lot of unrest since then. We've seen uprising in the community, and there have been professionals in the community who have been burning buildings. We know that there are a lot of white supremacists out here. The goal for being out here is to protect our businesses and our churches and just make sure that we're okay. That's literally all we're out here to do, is to protect and serve.
Because if we're going to be the emergency team, I don't want to be way down there and have to run way back. All right, if we're going to be the emergency team and we have to go different places, we should be in the middle and be able to disperse that way, then disperse that way, or disperse that way. You see what I'm saying? With it? We can't keep telling everybody else that Black Lives Matters if it doesn't matter to us. And so right now we're showing everybody around the world that we can do this together, no matter what walk of life, no matter what beef, all that's dead right now. Because we have to protect our kids, we have to protect our families. So that's why I'm out here with an AK-47. You know, my kids don't like it. My daughter is she's a daughter's girl, a daddy's girl, so she doesn't want me out here. But I had to explain to her what's the meaning of me being a part of this situation. So holding this AK-47 or not holding this AK-47, I am a threat to society regardless. And that's why we're here today, because I am not a threat. I am a part of the solution. I am a part of the growth. And until everybody else stop making those assumptions, this is where we're going to be. This is how we're going to act. We're going to guard our own communities. We're going to protect our own communities because everybody else won't.
And that's the fundamental point here. Is clearly you have a government that has said, in Minneapolis, that has said, yeah, no, we're not going to be there to protect you. And the fact is, guess what? They can't be everywhere to protect you. Law enforcement can't be everywhere to protect you. You are your own first responder. I don't care what your politics are. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your religion is. You are your own first responder. There were a lot of things in that video that you could agree with and a lot of things in that video that you can disagree with, right? But the fundamental thing is this, is that it's up to you to be there to defend yourself, to defend your family, to defend your community, in particular when no one else will. Because in the end, in many of these big cities, in this case in particular in Minnesota, they've already said, no, we will not be there when the criminals come a knocking, when the perpetrators come a knocking. Just give them your stuff. Give way to violence. Give way to the crime. And the thing is, folks, we're not talking about 1 or 2 nights of random violence. We're talking about just about every night for 2 months. These things have been happening in Chicago, in Minneapolis, in Detroit, Michigan. I mean, in cities, Portland, Seattle, in places all across the country, this is happening. And you have these city councils who are saying, "Yeah, nah, we're going to defund the police, and we're not going to have law. We're not going to enforce the law. We're just going to let them do whatever it is that they want to do." Folks, there's a reason why since COVID-19 first hit, you saw a dramatic increase in the number of firearm sales. There's a reason why after the initial George Floyd riots, you saw that increase in firearm sales continue even more. And folks, it's happening because there are many government entities, there are many in city councils that have just decided that, yeah, you, the people, are on your own. The thing you don't understand is, and I think a thing a lot of us didn't really understand is, we already kind of were. I mean, we were. I mean, there was already a Supreme Court ruling that law enforcement does not have a responsibility to save your life or protect your life. They don't. That obligation is on you, and it's on me. And in order to do so, it's important that we are properly equipped and properly trained to be able to do so. That we are able to fully exercise our constitutional right to keep and bear arms. And what I really liked was that was the mentality of the folks there in Minneapolis. Once again, you can agree with their politics, disagree with their politics relating to George Floyd or relating to law enforcement or anything like that. But what you cannot disagree with, is their desire and their desire to exercise a fundamental human right of self-defense as enumerated in the right to keep and bear arms in our Constitution. And I would like to just applaud them for that. Anyway, folks, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program, telling your friends about the Firearms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.